Hi all. Today I'm going to be giving a little introduction on a little handy dandy app that I've found has really enhanced my language learning skills and usage. The app is called Takoboto and it's essentially an English-Japanese dictionary for Android. I've been using this app for 3 years now, basically the entirety of my Japanese study at university. As far as I know, it's capable with all kinds of Androids, so I've used it with my Oppo here, and most recently my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Fancy. It's a dictionary in a pocket. We all know that pocket dictionaries, even though they're pocket, they're still massively clunky and can't really fit in your pocket. Who wants to be carrying around a huge, ginormous dictionary like this in your backpack for school every day? Not me. It's a huge benefit, really. Many of my readings for literature for this have come from corpus linguistics, as well as a few pieces of literature on the benefits of technology in language learning and as a language learning tool. To my knowledge, Takoboto is a corpora, and thus corpora literature is used. To quote Golonka et al. In their studies for technology-based language learning, a corpora is a collection of authentic language in spoken form, written form, or both, and can vary in terms of design, fixed size versus expandable, content, general versus specialized, and medium, written versus spoken. You look up the term, either in English or Japanese, and even in Romanized Japanese, and it comes up with possible translations and definitions. You click on one of these and it will give you the meaning or meanings, because sometimes in Japanese one word can mean 9 different things depending on the context. And what Takoboto does is it lists you the meanings, and then there's also a little handy kind of tab called phrases that really comes in handy in these kinds of situations. Because like a corpora, you look up these terms and it will come up with however many recorded examples and usages there are in the language. It's the same for Takoboto. You look up the term, so I'm going to look up food, and it comes up with many different definitions. I'm going to click on the first one, which is tabemono. I might not know how to use tabemono, so I would go to phrases. It will come up with many different examples of how to use tabemono in any kind of situation. Typically, when we learn a language, we will look up the meaning to a word we don't know in the other language and look at examples of usages to further solidify it in our brain. But we can also use corpora to test hypotheses based on already existing theories that we have made ourselves. Because language is constantly evolving, corporas need to do the same. They need to constantly change and add new terms into its database to allow for language change. And this is what Takoboto does. So when you look up the term in Takoboto, on the right hand corner, it comes up with common. Being a common term means that it's used right now in real time. That needs to be updated constantly because Japanese, like English, is constantly changing. It's helpful with language learning because then it means you're not learning outdated terms or old-fashioned kanji like you use in some textbooks that I have, grammar that my Japanese friends have never ever used, ever. So I reckon that's pretty handy. I don't know about you. So it's kept up to date for language users and language learners of today. Speaking of kanji, there's also a kanji tab, which if you click over to there, it allows you to look at the stroke order, as well as the different readings that they have, the meaning of each kanji, and grade of the Japanese language proficiency tests that it comes up in, which also needs to stay relevant and is an indication of how it is constantly staying relevant. The only downside that I have of the step-by-step is not in a video form, which is fine. It still works really well and gives you the understanding of what order you need to write these in. In terms of using technology as a language learning tool, I have only been able to use this app as a tool. It is not capable for standalone language learning. In saying that, however, it is an excellent resource and an excellent addition to any Japanese learner, I believe, because it shows terms which are commonly used, different meanings and contexts used, if any, as well as example sentences and correct kanji writing orders. I cannot rate this app highly enough.